Hello, and welcome to Background Noise.
My name is Casey.
And my name is Eric.
And welcome to
Dreamcast.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about dreams. Our dreams. Our weird, freakishly disturbing dreams.
Yeah, we have the weirdest dreams ever, and honestly, it's time for the world to know. So, all right. Casey's standing on a chair like an absolute freak of nature. And so today, Casey's going to start with the chair freak.
The chair freak?
I don't know.
I never had a dream about being a chair freak.
I didn't have a dream of either, but I'm currently envisioning it because I just saw it.
What should I start with? The one I had today where
Yeah.
So I had a dream today. And Eric had come over. Like he did. And he's being so mean. And I was like, I think you need to go.
No. You said, I think you need to go home. Like, the way you said it was so funny.
I think you need to go home.
And, like, I'd have to be, I don't even know what I would be doing for you to be like, I think you need to go home. I'd have to be, like, the worst, biggest demon of heck.
I don't remember what you were doing.
Wow.
But I remember that you were just being so mean. And I was like, I think you need to go home.
That's so funny. I actually do love that.
And that's it.
That's it, period. So this dream is honestly one... It was honestly not a dream. Most of these are nightmares.
Yeah, mine are too.
So this one was crazy. So at first, it started off in a warehouse, like, type building, and there was an auction taking place. And so it was full of pews and chairs. Random. I was like, why is it a mix between, like, some sort of church and a warehouse there's an auction? Super strange. My whole immediate family was there, and we were wearing, like, nice clothing, like things you'd wear to, like, fancy shows or, like, church, like, dress clothes. And there was a drawing where you could win $200, and none of us entered. And I looked down at my mom, like, because she was a few seats down from me for whatever reason, and she's holding a Chick-fil-A sauce packet. I was like, that's really weird. And but I found out later, like, in order to enter into the auction, you have to write your name on the Chick-fil-A sauce packet and give it to them. And I was like, I'm not doing it. And so I was like, she must not be doing it either, because she was still holding on to it forever. Like, the whole, like, we're waiting for the auction to start, and she's still holding on to it. I'm like, I guess she's not entering. And a few minutes after, the auction leader announces that he's going to draw the winner, and it's of $200, and he digs and grabs out a Chick-fil-A sauce. And I looked over at my mom, and she did not have the Chick-fil-A sauce packet anymore. And I was like, I know she entered my name into it without my permission. Like, in my dream, I knew she did that. I was like, you better not have entered my name into this drawing. I'm going to be so embarrassed. I'm going to be so embarrassed. And I don't get embarrassed. And so finally they start calling the winner, and they call my name, and I'm literally freaking embarrassed. I'm like, I am not going up to get the prize. I'm not doing it. I don't want it. And they start saying my name over and over. And then eventually they just start saying my address over the intercom and my phone number and, like, my social security number. And I was like, oh, I'm doomed. Like, my life is over. Someone's going to come and kill me tonight. And so I finally run up and get it. And I was freaking out because I was like, why would he be yelling out my whole address and social security over the intercom at this place with millions of people? And so I went up and grabbed it. And then in my dream, I remember it being like, you're going to have someone break into your home tonight. That's going to happen. So I was like, in my dream, I was like, oh, great. So I go home in my dream, and I'm, like, panicked. I can't sleep. And I'm talking to my mom, and we start hearing sounds from the basement. And I'm like, oh, great. Someone's trying to get in. And so we stopped talking, and we ran to get my siblings because I was like, this isn't happening. And I don't know where my dad was, but he was somewhere in the house, and we didn't want to yell because we didn't want to. Didn't want the thief or breaker-inner. That's it. We didn't want the burglar. Thank you. We didn't want the burglar to know we were in there. My siblings were asking, "What's happening?" And they were saying it so loud. And my mom and I kept telling them, like, be quiet. And they weren't quiet no matter what we did. So we started, like, covering their mouths because we heard that the footsteps were getting closer and closer. Like, Oh my gosh, I remember this dream like vivid all of a sudden. I'm like freaked out. But we didn't know what to do, so we started closing the blinds and curtains so nobody outside could see us either. And my dad rushed in and tells us he's going to go downstairs and inspect the sound. And I'm like, no.
That's how everyone dies.
Yes, exactly.
In the horror
And
movie.
it's getting darker and darker every second in the dream, like outside. And so we're like, something bad is going to happen. And so my mom and I start hearing sounds from her bathroom, and she has a master bathroom. We literally start panicking, but we decided our best choice was to go into the bathroom. Something was behind her shower wall, pulling it out.
Ew.
And like trying to get it to come loose. And we're like, no. And so we both left the room and we both went back in again together, and we started looking closer at the shower because the sound had slowed. And next thing we know, the wall was absolutely ripped off. Like we saw it ripped off in front of us, and like a ton of like black balls and people wearing black suits just started pouring into like the building. Like think of like Incredibles, like the black sticky like, you know what I'm talking? Have you watched that where they have like the black balls that they stick on him, and like they weren't sticky but they looked like that, and they're rolling in, and then these people wearing like full on black like suits completely covered their face, body, and everything. And it was literally so scary. Oh my gosh, I said I drew a photo to describe what I'm talking about. Where? Serious? And my mom and I screamed, "Game over, wanna play again." And then I woke up.
Ew, I hate that.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
That's terrifying.
And I didn't know, I don't remember drawing a picture.
The end is...
Game over, wanna play again?
That's the terrifying.
And I woke up in a heart attack. I died. No, like literally, I don't remember that ending until just now, and that's scary.
That is scary.
I want to find the picture.
The next dream I'm gonna tell is I might tell like two because they're kind of short. But when I was still living at home, like in high school, I had a dream. Sorry, I had a dream, and I was in the house, like in my room, and my whole family was murdered. Like somebody got into the house, and
oh my gosh,
through the front door.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was unlocked in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in through the front door, and my dad sleeps on the couch, so that he was the first one to get murdered. And then my little brother's room, it was off the living room, and they went in there, killed him, and like they killed him bloody, like. Jeez. And I like in my dream I saw him like going and killing each of my family, and then he like goes downstairs where my mom was, kills her, and it was when Coulter was still really little. And so he was with my mom. Mm-hmm. Kills him, too. And his was, like, the worst. Oh it was the most brutal. And they somehow missed me. They were, like, looking through the house, like, trying to find me. But, like, I could hear. Like, I woke up in my dream, because I was sleeping in my dream. I woke up in my dream, and somehow, like, I knew someone had just murdered my whole family. So I had to get out of the house.
Oh, my gosh.
Without them knowing. And somehow I got out of the house, and I was going down to my neighbor's house, which we're really close to my neighbors. And I was going down there, and somehow they were like, there she is. And I had to book it, and they were coming after me. And I made it out alive somehow, but like my whole family was murdered, and I woke up, panic attack, and I'm like, I had to go check on each of my family. Aww. To make sure they were alive. Okay.
That's sad. Those are the worst dreams to have.
That's like the dreams that I had.
I know. So this next dream I had is another one that was creepy that happened at my home, because apparently I love that. Didn't know I'd had that many until I'm looking at the dreams I've had, and I'm like, oh. So this one, I was literally sitting at home with my family, and we're just talking. And I looked in the backyard, and I saw, like, 10 teenagers climbing over the fence. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? And so, in the dream, my fence was chain, like the chain fences, like the triangle chain fences, not vinyl, like my actual fences. So we could see all the ones who hadn't climbed over yet, too. Like, we knew there were more coming. And we're like, this is really weird. And so, like, 1 to 2 of them had climbed over, and I went outside and told them to get off my property right now. Mm-hmm. And like 9 of them started walking away, and one was like in the yard running inside my house. They ran inside of my house, what are you doing, girl? And so I grabbed her because she was by the dining table, because that's how you get into my backyard. It's by the dining table. And I grabbed her arm and threw her back outside because I was like, get out of my house. And so I went back inside and locked the doors. And the next thing I knew, like, all of the teenagers were in the front of my house, and they were throwing eggs and rocks at, like, our windows and our house and at our cars. And for some reason, all of the cars were not in the garage. They were all on the driveway. So they were throwing rocks and eggs at our cars and breaking them, like, breaking the windows. So I, like, was super panicked, and I wanted them to stop, so I called 911. The police dispatcher never picked up the phone. So, like, I went down to peek out the window to see if they're still there. Like, when I was down there, I heard from my phone, like, it was like, hello, like, on the end of the call. And I was like, hello? And I put it up to my ear again, and I was like, I'm sorry, I wasn't responding because I was looking out the window, and I hadn't heard anything back from you. And I said that kids were doing it, and he said, what do you think we're going to do about it? I said, well, come arrest them or tell them to stop. And he's like, we're not going to be doing that. And then he hung up. And then my dream ended. And then at the end I said, so that probably means we died, because they never stopped. I, like, have weird dreams, apparently. Like, why were they like, we're not gonna do that?
I don't know.
Like, no. Why are they all in my house? They can't be at a fake house that I don't actually live in.
I don't. Okay. My next dream is more of, like, a childhood dream. And it's, like, this is so weird when I tell it to people, but it's a texture dream. And, like, I'm in a whole white place. I don't know if it's, like, a lab or something, but everywhere, all the walls, everything's white. I'm in an insane asylum. Just kidding.
Yeah, like the soft puffy walls.
No, it's hard. Everything's hard white. But, if I'm, like, and I'm laying down, like, in the middle of the floor, and I'm huge, like, compared to the, like, room, if that makes sense. And if I'm laying on a flat surface, I'm fine. But if I'm laying on a bumpy surface, like, mountains are under my back, it's so scary, and I wake up with, like, actually a panic attack. And I'm, like, terrified. I don't know why. And I would have it a lot, like, as a kid. And I'd have to go, like, sleep with my mom because I was that scared.
Oh my gosh.
Because I would, like, be panicking, like.
That's sad.
And then one time I had it as, like, a teenager. Haven't had it, like, for a really long time. But I had it as a teenager, and it was, like, worse. Like, I woke up even worse, scared.
Oh my gosh. Do you think it's because it came back?
Maybe.
I almost feel like it coming back is almost creepier than the original.
Well,
like,
I had it a lot.
Years
like,
years
it's
later.
It's a reoccurring dream a lot as a child, and then as a teenager it came back, and that could have been why I was more scared.
Yeah, I believe it.
And then there's another dream that I have about the zombie apocalypse. That's a reoccurring dream that I'll have, like, years later, or, like, I'll have one last year and I'll have one this year or something. And it starts, like, one's at the beginning, one's at, like, towards the end, and then, like, one's in the middle, and it, like, all connects, and I'll remember my past dreams, but, like, I can't remember them right now.
I literally have, I was going to say that later in the podcast, actually. Like, I have the same thing, a zombie apocalypse, post-apocalyptic world, and same, I literally will have them completely out of order, and I remember most of them now, but I wasn't going to plan on diving. You don't?
I don't remember any of them until I have a dream, and I'm like, I remember all
You need to wake up and write
those.
it down immediately.
I'll have the dream, and I'll remember all the past things and how
disgusting.
They connect.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think I don't think in this episode, but in one episode, I actually want to write them down and, like, dive into what's happened in mine, because mine are, like, same thing, over multiple years, and they're not in any order, but when, like, I could have one in, like, year 2, and then one I have year 4, and then one that's, like, when the apocalypse started, and then one, like, 10 years later, but they all connect, and I can tell.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to dive into.
And then I have other reoccurring dreams that I can't remember right now. Like, my recurring dreams, I'll have to have one, and then I'll remember my past dreams.
That's, like, kind of nasty. Like, brains are, no, I mean, just
and
because, like, it's
not
creepy.
just the zombie apocalypse one. There's other ones that are, like, some different thing that I don't even remember.
My main recurring ones are creepy.
Yeah.
Most of them. I've had a couple recurring ones that aren't, but, like, majority of them are.
Mine too.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That was really weird. So this one is my most recent dream that I remember. And it was wild because I told my whole family too. So it was interesting. So I was like an astronaut in this dream, and I was with a group of like maybe 15 to 20 other astronauts.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on a spaceship to an undiscovered planet. And it was like a really, really dark planet. Nothing there except abandoned buildings.
Weird.
Very weird. Like, we were like, okay, somebody's lived here. Why is there nobody here anymore? And why do we not know anything about this planet?
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, that's strange. And we're like, well, there's nothing else here. Like, let's just go back. Like, there's no reason to explore. And we went to the spaceship and found out, oh, it's literally not able to fly because it's missing a part. Somehow when we landed, it lost a part and it was destroyed. Like, we found the part, but it was ruined.
Mm.
And the only thing we had was one escape pod that could fit 4 people. And so my captain was like, you, and you, which I was one of them. He's like, you're going to go back down to Earth and you're going to find this part. And I know exactly where it is. He's like, it's in the mall that your mom grew up going to, because it was like, that's where we took off from. And I was like, okay, we'll find it. He's like, the only thing I remember about where it is it's in the only wooden door in the whole entire mall. Go into that wooden door and you'll find the exact part we need. And we're like, okay, what stores is the wooden door near? And he's like, it's near, it was like Barbie Dreamhouse store, which like, what is that? And then some other store. And we're like, okay, well, we'll go find it. And so we go back home. We go to the mall where my mom grew up going to as a teenager. We land and we're like, this mall is massive. It was like a combination between an airport and a mall. Like, it was literally huge. Like, we're like, oh, so it's gonna take us 1,000,000 hours to search this whole place. And we had 3 hours to get back. Like, we were gonna run out of oxygen. So we had 3 hours to get back, and we're like, okay, let's somewhat split up. 2 of you go this way, 2 of us go this way, but we need to be together because if one of us finds it, we're gonna need help getting it to the space pod. And so we're like searching everywhere in this whole place. We found a map, like a directory map, and we looked at it. It was like a ginormous paper map that was huge, which they don't even do that anymore. But it was like a map that was massive. And we looked at it. Nothing. Those stores he said on it, none of those existed anymore. And we remembered, like, well, he did say he'd only been here 20 years ago the last time. A lot can change in 20 years. We're like, crap. So we really have to search the whole place. So we start, like, searching. We're finding no wooden door. Every door is, like, metal and brand new. And we're like, did they change it? Like, did they get rid of the wooden door? Because that would make sense. Why would you have a wooden door in a brand new mall anymore? Like, we're running around. It'd been like 2 hours at this point. We have like an hour left to really find it, and then an hour to fly home. Or not fly home. Fly to the planet to save everybody. And I see my mom, and because she works at Starbucks in this dream. There's 1,000,000 people at Starbucks. And I go up to her and I'm like, Mom, where was this store? Because you came here when you grew up. Where was these 2 stores? But she was too busy, so she couldn't talk to me. And so I was like, we'll just have to find it. So we keep searching. And at this point, the 2 other people had gone a completely different way in the mall. And me and whoever I was with. But we went to the literal last corner of the mall that was literally no stores in it. All the stores over there had been closed. It literally just become a sitting area. And we look over and we see a wooden door. It was like actually that color. A massive door. And we're like, that's the door. And so we go inside of it. And it's pitch black. No lights. Absolutely no light switch. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just use the flashlight on my phone. And I turn it on and it's like flickering and being weird.
Ew.
And I'm like, oh, great. And I see a wall. And so to explain how this wall was, it was like mesh with like, think of like if there's a wall, but then you can see in the corner, there's something around the corner of the wall. Like the wall ends, but there's something that way, like a hall. And so I'm like, well, let me go down this hallway. And I look, rather than like it being a hallway, it just starts going this way, which is weird. Why would it be doing that? And I look, and there's a wooden door, like about 2 foot tall on the ground. And I'm like, has to be where the part is. And so I tell my, like, partner or whatever, I was like, hey, I'm going to go in it. You stand out here and watch guard, because we weren't supposed to be in here. We don't own the mall. We're not employees. And I open it, and it's, like, steps down underground, kind of. And so I keep going, and then I look up, and like the walls are covered with images of, think of New York, like flashing taxi lights, flashing cars, tons of like those old mirrors that had like the bulbs all around it. There was that, it wasn't mirrors, but that was all around everything. and I look on the ground above me. It was like, it was a murder scene. Like, literally, like, bloody corpses
Ew.
of, like, a whole family. No. But they weren't people. They were mannequins. They were literally bloodied mannequins, like, laying on the ground, and there was police sirens. In my dream, I could compare it to, like, going to a museum or a Smithsonian where somebody had recreated the murder scene with mannequins.
Okay.
That's what it was. That's what was happening. But I was like, who would do that? Why is it at a mall? Whoever made this is the person who murdered these people, and this is, like, his trophy. Like, he wants this. Like, this is, or whoever it was. I, like, could tell. And there was, like, picture frames on the wall of them, like, before they had died, and, like, newspapers of their death and, like, information. And I was like, I have to get out of here right now. Like, I'm gonna get haunted. And the lights started flickering and being weird, too. I was like, I've got to get out. And I looked behind, and the door was shut. And I'm like, no. So I look, and there's ladder. Now there's a ladder up to a trap door. And so I'm like, okay, I gotta go up here. So I go up the ladder to the trap door. I get out, and my partner's below me now. And I'm like, there is something haunted as heck in here. Like, we have got to go. And he's like, no, let me look. And I was like, no, you're gonna be haunted if you look in here. And so he crawls down into the hole. All of a sudden, I'm like, we didn't find the part. We have, like, 20 minutes left at this point to get back. We have to find it. And he's like, it's gotta be in one of these mannequins. And then I woke up. I never found out. So in my brain, I'm like, I don't know if we lived or not. And honestly, I woke up probably because it was terrifying. I tried so hard to fall back to sleep because I was like, I want to resume that dream right now. I couldn't.
Oh, have you ever resumed a dream?
Oh, yeah.
I have too.
Tons of times. If I fall asleep within 20 minutes, I can usually resume the dream. Not always. I'll be like, sleep. No, we gotta resume. I gotta know what happens. And I tried, but I could not. I fell back asleep, but the dream didn't resume. I didn't dream. But it was weird.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool until there was the creepy mannequin murder corpse trophy scene.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
That was too much.
That's scary.
Because I woke up and I was like, what in my brain made me think of that? Because, like, I must have seen that, something like, you know, your brain can combine a ton of things and make a dream. Like, it's kind of creepy what our brains can do to create a dream, but it was insane.
That sounds insane.
Yeah, it was wild.
So I'll start with my funny dream about... So we were here at this house, and we were building... I'm pretty sure it was Legos. Mm-hmm. We were building Legos. Oh. Okay? Mm-hmm. And my husband's uncle, like... came in and he's like, what are you guys doing with, like, because we were, like, building them, and then he, like, comes and he, like, destroys them, like, smashing them with his feet and stuff. Oh. And it was, like, destroyed, like, you couldn't put the Legos back together.
Like, destroyed. It was ruined.
Yeah. Pure ruined. And we were pissed. Yeah. Because, like, we took so much time to build those, and he just destroys them, and we're like, well, you need to pay us back. Because obviously they're destroyed. You don't go around destroying people's things for fun. You need to pay us back. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I don't. And so Zach's dad was like, no, he doesn't. Oh, and he's like, I'll just put it back together for you. No. And he puts, like, he dumps, like, a bucket of glue on it. Like, thinking it's going to fix. Obviously it didn't. Yeah. And they're just like, no, he doesn't need to pay you back. And we're like, yes, he freaking does. And so we left because we were so mad. And we got into your car. And we started to drive away. And I don't know if you had, like, a lawyer to call, or you're calling your dad to be like, we need to call our lawyer or whatever. Because we were gonna sue. Oh, before we left, we're like, we're gonna sue. We're getting our money back.
Oh my gosh.
And then I woke up because...
You're mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny. And funny enough, I have the recording of when you sent me that dream when you woke up. And
like, I was dead asleep.
No, it's literally the funniest recording ever, and I will insert that at the end, or possibly now. Yeah. We'll decide. But it's so funny.
It is hilarious.
I'm super tired and I'm basically asleep, but I need to tell you about my dreams. So, in my dream, and we were like, this is not, like, no, he needs to pay us back. And Jay was like, no, as well. And so we were so mad. We started to leave, and we're like, we're gonna sue. and we were leaving, and you were calling like your dad or your lawyer or something, and we were like, we're gonna get this $30 back, which like kind of sounds ridiculous, but like that's not okay to break somebody's stuff and not give them their money back. So you're like, call this person, and you did, and then I woke up.
So I think I'm gonna probably die in a car crash.
I really hope not. I really, really would not like that.
I wouldn't like it either.
Well, no, but I'm just saying it's not allowed. Put that energy back where it came from.
'Cause the amount of nightmares I have about getting in a car crash is ridiculous. Is actually ridiculous. And they're terrifying.
Yeah.
So one of my dreams, I was driving Zach's dad's truck, and it was very snowy, and it started to snow some more, and I was on the freeway, and I was in the very left lane, and I needed to get over to the next lane right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And this person was trying to get into the very left lane, and the way that they did it, they like went over and they smacked the back of the truck.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm.
And they were perfectly fine. But the way that the truck like slid on like the slush or ice or whatever, it like started sliding, and then it started tumbling over itself. So like,
oh my gosh, like rolling.
Yeah, it started rolling. Rolled off the freeway, and I got launched out of it.
Oh my gosh.
And everyone else was fine.
Of course.
And the person that smacked me, they were fine. They just like stopped on the very left lane.
Waited for you.
Their car obviously wasn't fine, but they were fine. And I remember like in my dream rolling and then getting launched out. And I was like wearing a seatbelt and everything. And even with the seatbelt and everything, I got launched out and like through the front windshield or something. I don't remember. And I landed in a snowbank. And I remember like bleeding. Like the snow was hot, like underneath me because I was bleeding.
Oh my gosh, and red.
Yeah, it was red all over. It was like a cherry slushy, but
oh my head.
But
That's
it was
funny.
blood. And I remember the police had come, and there was like you could see the lights, but they couldn't find me, and they were like looking for me. And I tried to be like, I'm here. I'm here. But I couldn't like get the words out because I was like dying.
Dead.
I was dying, and
Yeah.
I was like trying, and I'm like, I'm here, like trying to get like it out loud enough, and there wasn't anything like I could bang on because it was just snow. I was in a snowbank.
Oh my head.
And I woke up, so who knows? I might have died in my dream. And then my other car crash dream, which I've had a lot, but the other one I'm gonna mention. I was going to school, and there's like it's like a hill to get there the way that I would go. And I was coming. Oh, I wasn't going to school. I was just going somewhere over there. I don't know why. But Zach was in the passenger seat, and his siblings were in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 5. It was like right when the sun starts getting like in the way of your vision and making lights not look like lights.
Mm-hmm.
And the car in front of me, they were braking, and the sun was just right on it where it didn't look like they were braking at all.
Oh.
Until the very last second, and I like slammed on the brake, but I just couldn't like stop in time, especially on the hill where I slammed into the back of them.
Yeah.
And I got like really hurt, and I was bleeding out my mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Like bleeding out of my mouth, like dripping blood out of my mouth. Zach was fine in the passenger seat. His siblings were fine in the back. And I was like, I need to go make sure they're okay. And Zach's like, you're not okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to make sure they're okay. Like, meaning the people in the car in front of me. And I'm like, I need to say sorry. And Zach's like, you're the one that's not okay.
Yeah.
And then I woke up, so.
Jeez, why? I hate that you have those dreams. Those are the worst.
And then I've had a million other car crash dreams.
You've told me some of them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, another one?
Yeah, they're not good.
No.
They're not
I think that's
good
your worst
at
fear,
all.
because I don't think you'd be having that if
It might be.
it was like something that you're just like, eh.
I think it's one of my biggest
Ew,
fears.
I was just like, is somebody breaking into my house one of my biggest fears? And I was like, yeah. So maybe that's just what you dream about sometimes. Because I was like,
fears?
literally, when I'm home by myself, I'm convinced when I hear sounds that
Me
someone's...
too.
Like, I carry around my massive, like, mega boom speaker so I can hit someone on the head if I have to. Like, for real. Like, if I'm by myself and I hear weird noises, that I'll, like, bring it around.
Yeah.
Not if there's no noise.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times in my backyard, there's like a little, it's a porch, like a, yeah, what would you call that? A deck?
A deck.
It's like a deck, but it's flat. But birds like to sit in the corner. And there was a woodpecker or something on it, because it was going but it literally echoed downstairs in my basement room. It echoed literally everywhere, and it's happened a couple times. But the one when I was downstairs, it was like not that loud. But once I was literally sitting, like, back facing the back door, like, literally, and it starts coming from behind me, and I was like, oh, someone's breaking in my house. Someone's breaking in the back door, and it wasn't. It was a stupid bird. But I literally didn't know what to do. Because I was by myself.
Yeah.
I was like, do I call the police? Do I open the door? Because I was like, what would they be doing? Like, drilling my door? Like, I'm right here, and the windows are open. Like, the blinds are open. And I was convinced they were breaking in, but it was just a stupid bird sitting in the corner. But it echoed in the whole house so loud. I've never heard a louder sound in my house.
Makes sense.
So maybe that's my worst fear.
Probably is.
So that's why you have dreams.
You have dreams about your biggest fear.
Yeah, period. All right, that's what we've got for you today.
Hopefully you enjoyed our disturbing and terrifying dreams.
Yeah, honestly, not one of them was really positive.
Yeah.
I was thinking we were going to have at least one in there that was positive, but not one of those was. So this is our nightmare dreams, not our dreams. It's nightmares.
It's nightmares.
We're going to be titling this something nightmares because it's not dreams.
No, those are nightmares.
Yeah, it became more of a nightmare cast than a dream cast, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Hopefully you enjoy.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. I'm sure we'll have another one of these because we dream a lot.
Yeah.
I do. I have paragraphs of dreams written
I know
down.
you do. I have nightmares mostly. And then a lot of times I don't remember them.
I used to write them down every day when I woke up for like months. The ones that were like relevant and important that weren't just like 2 sentences worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we got for you.
Yep.
Bye.
See ya.